try to reason with the enemy, and you cannot reason with him. And we have to stop talking so much and be about it. Stop talking about it and be about it. And so here it is that they kept trying to coax him down, but he had to be persuaded in his mind that they were already under his feet. See, if you don't know that from the beginning, you will be enticed to come down because it seems like the right thing to do. There's some people that you know God has instructed you to cut ties with, not to be mean, but because they are a distraction.
Please take note of a few upcoming DLM events. Reminder: the Power Experience with Dr. Diane resumes July 11th. We have received quite a few comments about how the Testing Season series is changing lives. Join Prophetess online via Facebook or YouTube Monday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for your support. Hello sisters. You may have heard, our women's retreat is back and better than ever. So often as women we fail to see our true value and appreciate our genuine self-worth. This year's retreat is prophetically themed Overcomers and is designed to revolutionize you, so that you can successfully fulfill God's vision for your life. Retreat is October 20th through 22nd. Register at sisretreat.com.
Okay, so today I want to talk about distractions, and then we're going to be done here. That's my overview. Are y'all feeling this? Is this okay? Is this good teaching? Okay, so let me start with distractions because that's part one. And so I'm going to introduce that. I'll pick up distractions a little bit more next week, and then I'll get into number two. Okay, so here it is. 1 Peter 5:8 says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary." I absolutely love this passage because it says your adversary. I need you to say my adversary. Even the people online, I hope they're yelling it out. My adversary walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. He walks around looking for an opportunity to destroy me, to devour me. He didn't say just to hit you, just hurt you. He said devour. Devour means to destroy, to take you all the way out of the game, to make sure that you are no longer opposition to him. Because some of you don't realize that you are his enemy. Are y'all hearing this today? And so he wants you all the way out of the game. Now, let's go here. Now, what happened? He puts us in a position with distractions to react. He allows distractions to come because he wants us to react. We call it responding. So, and it diverts the valuable attention from what we really need to be doing, because now we're dealing with stuff that really is not worth our attention. But because we are who we are, we will respond in that way. Let me give you an example. Now, I'm going to talk about this, and I have to be careful because we are recorded, and I'll talk more in detail after we are no longer recording. Is that okay, guys? Okay. So 2019, I'm going to talk about Kanye for a second, okay? I want you to know when Kanye released his gospel album, and he said that he was starting a church and he was having Sunday services, there was a great divide in the church. There was a great divide between the church, and there was a great divide between people in the world. Some believed and some didn't believe. People in the world came to his rescue because they felt like the church was being judgmental. I'm not here to address either one, but I want you to know what was going on underneath, because while we were so focused on Kanye and him, whether he's saved or not, which it really ain't none of my business, whether he can do gospel or not, that's between him and his recording contract. That ain't none of my business either. That there are things that are happening, undercurrents, that we as believers are not paying attention to. We look for a cause, you know, we look for something to jump on the bandwagon, and it takes the attention off of what we truly should be focused on. And so here it is, he uses somebody who is big. Now, he was big, everybody knows who he is, so the enemy is always going to use a platform that grabs everybody's attention. Because had that happened with somebody who was in gospel, it wouldn't have been a big deal. Had it even happened with somebody who's kind of in the middle, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But because he's contrary, He's contrary. He pushes the envelope. He's on the edge that he chose to use somebody like this to get all of our attention. So this is what happened. After he went and did a live and was talking about what he was doing, the founder of the Church of Satan. Now I want y'all to know that there are churches. There's satanic churches. Okay? So I'm going to tell you how the Church of Satan responded to what happened in his life, and I want to show you how this was a distraction, okay? And so the Church of Satan responded to Kanye's conversion, and you guys can look this up. I can share this with you. He said, Satan is the best friend that Kanye has ever had, and he will keep him in business all these years. That's what the Church of Satan said that Kanye was their friend. And so somebody responded, and they were like, why are you saying that? He said, because we are more pleased than anything. He said, you would have to understand our teaching in order to understand what I just said. So this is partly why he said that. He said, I believe, he says, the reason why the church is still alive today is because the believers are so afraid of Satan and internal damnation. That's what keeps them going back. He said they are so afraid of us. They are so afraid of our power. He says that it keeps them depending on church, but they don't have relationship. So this is why he says when Kanye released this album, it caused such division and such distractions that the church was divided among itself, that it was arguing about his salvation. And so this Church of Satan said, that's our best weapon. I just need, are y'all getting this? Can I go a little further? See, it looked so simple, didn't it? It looked so simple. It looked so easy, like it wasn't a big deal, like it wasn't affecting us. But that's what Satan does. He creates all of these things that grabs our attention, and we think it's just culture. We think it's culture, or we think it's just life, and we're just doing what we do, and we don't realize that there are undercurrents under there. There are things that take the legs from up under believers, because we didn't see that you know, okay, taking aside or even voicing how it took us off of the real focus. Because I believe, I don't care what he did, I hope to God he accepted Jesus for real. And that was my prayer and my focus. But when you get caught up in that, you get distracted, you lose your focus on what it is you're supposed to be doing. Now, let me get into this teaching right quick, and y'all hold that thought because I have some other stuff for you. Is that not a distraction? Did y'all see that? Okay, so here it is, Nehemiah, the 6th chapter, verse 3. Now, for the sake of time, I'm just going to do a synopsis. I'm not going to read all of it, but the 6th chapter, verse 3 says, I'm carrying on a great project and cannot come down. Why should the work stop while I leave it alone and go down to you? Now, I want to use this passage, and I want you to go back and read the entire chapter of Nehemiah chapter 6. And if you're bold, go back and read chapter 5 also, so that you can understand what was going on. You might have heard bits and pieces of this teaching, but this part right here got me, because here it is that they were rebuilding the city, the wall, right? If you know a little bit about it, they were outcast, and they had an opportunity to rebuild. So they had some opposition, and here he says, I got to focus on what it is that I'm doing. Nehemiah, he says, I'm charged to do this. But as you read those passages, opposition kept coming to him. Just stay with me. Opposition kept coming. They kept trying to get him to come down on the wall. But this part right here in verse 6, they kept coming to him over and over again. But what got me, they came to him in an invitation. See, in chapter 5, they were trying to threaten him. Come on now. Chapter 5, they were threatening him. Chapter 5, you know, they were trying to make them afraid. But chapter 6, they opened the door for an invitation to come talk. Y'all better hear me. Sometimes distractions come in the form of friendliness. See, y'all don't want to hear this today. So you think just because they want to talk and it looks easy and it looks, you know, safe and peaceful, that is not a distraction. So in verse 6, the Bible said 4 times they kept coming to him. Come and let's talk, because we heard this and we just want to give you an opportunity to make it right. And see, that's a distraction. That's what the enemy does. You can be so focused on what God has given you to do. You can be so focused on the ministry ministry, and distractions come in the sense of just talking. Let's just get along. Can we all just get along? Can we all just keep peace? Can we all just be unified? And you will lose the focus and the essence of what it is you're supposed to do. And the Bible said that the fifth time they sent a letter. Now, it's bad enough that they're trying to coax you. And here it is. We think we're in this generation. And I got to stop and slow this down. I'm so tired. The saints talk too much. I have to say that. They talk too much. And I don't mean talk too much to people. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying you try to reason with the enemy, and you cannot reason with him. And we have to stop talking so much and be about it. Stop talking about it and be about it. And so here it is that they kept trying to coax him down, but he had to be persuaded in his mind that they were already under his feet. See, if you don't know that from the beginning, you will be enticed to come down because it seems like the right thing to do. There's some people that you know God has instructed you to cut ties with, not to be mean, but because they are a distraction. It doesn't mean that you won't come back together. You may, but right now, they need more than what you have to offer them. They are strictly draining you. There's some relationships that will suck the life out of you, but in your mind, you think it's your responsibility to help them, but it's a distraction. Are you hearing me today? I want you to see the undercurrents, because on top it looks well. On top it looks like this is what we're supposed to be doing. But I need you to get this, that he starts with the invitation. So sometimes those invitations to evolve, sometimes those invitations to connect, sometimes those invitations to, I want to get with you are not of God. And I need you to be aware that they may very well be undercurrents. See, the enemy's not always mean. Sometimes he's nice. Sometimes he's nice. Sometimes he's pretty. Sometimes he gives you stuff. Y'all don't want to hear me today. Sometimes he gives you stuff to entice you. I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and I'm just going to drop this right quick. She was on a dating app. And so here it is that she was, talking to somebody, and this person really was very forward. I'll just say it like that, very forward. Well, lo and behold, she found out that he was not who he said he was, he portrayed himself to be something else. And she said, I just don't understand why people would take the time to try to just get in your life and destroy you like that. I said, girl, these are undercurrents, because bro was saying all the right things on the top. Y'all better hear me. He was saying all the right things. And the enemy, the crazy thing about it, he doesn't know everything about you unless you tell him. And we tell him too many of our secrets. We tell him too much about our weaknesses. We tell him too much about where we feel low. And so he uses it against us. Didn't I tell you that he's manipulator? So while you releasing it, he's taking it. He's going to use it, because where you may tell God that I feel weak, I feel worn, but you don't have the faith to believe God to bring you through, the enemy snatches it because you left it in the atmosphere. Y'all act like y'all don't hear me today. And so he uses it and he manipulates you and he puts it in a format. Are y'all hearing me today? Let me go just a little further. My time is going so fast. So here it is that his chief aim is to distract and hinder you. His aim is to distract and hinder you. That's it. He wants to distract and hinder you. He'll let you pray as long as you don't live by it, as long as you don't believe it and really stand on it, especially when trouble comes. He'll let you lay out. He'll let you speak in tongues, because he'll let you do all that stuff. He'll stand right there. When you get through, he still comes back with more. Are y'all hearing this today? Why? Because he wants your attention. I need you to say that he wants my attention. It's nothing worse than somebody who comes in and who is jockeying for everybody's attention. Are y'all hearing me? Sometimes they sashay back and forth because they want you to look at them. They want your attention. Why? Because there's something valuable when you look at them. Y'all better hear me today. It makes them feel like somebody when you look at them. And so Satan wants your attention. He wants you to look at him. He wants you to pay attention to his devices, because he knows when you pay attention that he can touch your heart, because where wherever your eyes are, your heart is going to follow. Oh, y'all better hear me today. So he knows he can touch your heart if he gets your eyes, if he gets your attention. And once he gets your heart and touches your heart, he gets your worship, because your worship is connected to your heart. Are y'all hearing me today? And so here it is, number 3. He knows that once he gets your attention, he can impact your ability to hear God. So first he touches your heart. Y'all got that? He gets your eyes and touches your heart. Then he touches your worship. Then you can't hear God. He impacts. Why? He starts whispering sweet nothings in your ear. And that's something what me and my friend were talking about. How these people would tell you everything they think you want to hear. Why? Because they try to read you. They hang around you, those familiar spirits, enough to know what your desires are, and they dress it up in a format like it's God. This person, let me tell y'all something. This person had the audacity to pray. This same person that was a con artist prayed. And she said, girl, he prayed fire. She said, he prayed like I'm connected to God, and was a con artist. Y'all better hear me today. These undercurrents. Why? Because that was important to her. He began to talk about church and ministry. He knew all the right things to say. And as Satan just releasing undercurrents. Why? To distract her off of what it was that God was calling her to do. Are you hearing me today? So I want to help you today, and I'm coming down to the end. There's some things that are in your life that came to distract you. And I want to give you 7 things, and then we're going to end. I'm going to pray, and then there are a couple of things I'm going to give you guys in the end when we get ready to turn off our viewers, okay? So here it is. I want to give you some signs that you may be distracted, because sometimes you don't realize it. You don't realize that you're distracted. You just say, this is just life. This is what was dealt to me. And so number 1, people have, or you may have, an overall sense of weariness, okay, for which it seems that there's no natural cause. It's not that there's a sickness in your body. It is. We talk about how many people have fallen away from their faith. We talk about how many people have walked away as a result of the pandemic, how many people are on the edge. But one third of those who were in heaven with God, who worshiped him every single day, walked away. Why? At the influence of Satan. Come on. You got to understand that Satan has a lot of influence, because we act like sometimes that we're exempt. But 1/3, and y'all think about those numbers, 33.3 out of 100. 33 people said, I'm done with you, God, if you look at it that way, and walked away with Satan because of his influence. Satan has influence.
Thanks for watching today's broadcast. If you'd like to help support the ministry, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. To catch all the latest from DLM, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and www.dianelazare.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.